And welcome to today's segment of The Power of Money. I'm your host, Michelle Graves, nationally and internationally known for over the last 36 years, can't believe it, as the Money Lady. And I remain committed to bringing you the very best of the best in terms of financial information, trends, topics, just things that you need to know to enable you and your family to make good, strong, sound financial decisions. Today, I am honored to have in the studio, again, back to that best of the best guests today to talk about elder financial abuse, which is rising and I totally predict will probably be epidemic in the years ahead as more and more people are aging and not able to make good decisions. So if you're listening or watching, you make sure you sit down for this entire hour and that you call your friends and family members, church, synagogue, whatever your faith, you make sure they're watching this show because this is, in my opinion, historic. It's also been the most difficult show for me to prepare for because frankly, I had no idea that it was this intense and this critical. But again, that's where we begin today. So I've got two guests, and I'm going to introduce them both to you and give you a little bit of information about them. And then we're going to show a video. And then we're going to get into the meat of this conversation today. Again, the topic is elder financial abuse. My first guest is Tom Fields. How are you, Mr. Fields?
Hi, Michelle. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being here with me. Cameras, if you could focus on him while I read this bio. Tom Fields is the State Director of the National Association to End Elder Financial Abuse. Mr. Fields was rudely awakened to how older adults are financially exploited when his father died in 1991. His father, Irving Fields, passed away then as a result of cancer that had been diagnosed and treated months earlier. Just hours before he died, while on a morphine drip and under a doctor's do not resuscitate order, Irv signed two financial documents which contradicted one another. The last document contradicted not only the first one, but also the will and trust documents which Irving kept in a bank vault, as well as law records of lawyers who showed up with this last document for him to sign, a document which benefited the family of one of the lawyers. Doctors were involved in these events, the last one admitting under oath that what he did as a favor for the lawyer who was a friend and whom he thought was acting as a spokesperson for Irving, not knowing that just 2 days earlier, Irving had told other lawyers not only that he had, quote, extreme distrust, close quote, for this lawyer, but also that this lawyer had been trying to get him to sign documents which he had refused to sign. As a result of this experience and his experience with the courts, Mr. Fields, my guest today, has worked tirelessly to advocate legal reforms which would protect individuals with severe cognitive impairment from being taken advantage of at the time they execute wills, trusts, POAs, deeds, mortgages, and other important legal/financial instruments, and so protect them and others from the ruinous litigation which often results under such circumstances. His efforts have been recognized by many others, including the Ohio State Bar Association's Director of Government Affairs. Mr. Fields grew up in Ohio, graduated from college in Ohio, and served in the U.S. Air Force during the Vietnam War. He's a proud veteran. He met his wife nearly 40 years ago and returned with her to Ohio 30 years ago, where they have lived ever since, raising 2 daughters and now helping out with 3 grandchildren. Tom Fields. My next guest is Craig Matthews. How are you, Craig?
Hello, Michelle.
Good to see you again.
Good seeing you.
Craig Matthews is an attorney at law, and he has been practicing in the fields of litigation and legal services since 1978. He is a general litigation practitioner with offices in Dayton, Ohio, and Cincinnati, Ohio. Attorney Craig Matthews has been selected as one of the top 100 litigation lawyers in the state of Ohio by the American Society of Legal Advocates. The American Society of Legal Advocates is an invitation-only nationwide organization of elite lawyers in practice today, drawing its membership from lawyers who combine stellar legal credentials with a proven commitment to community engagement and the highest professional standards. He has also been reviewed as excellent by his peers, a VVO superb rating 9.4 out of 10 for ethical standards and legal ability. Today we're going to talk about two of his areas of expertise, which is elder fraud litigation and guardianship litigation. Thank you, gentlemen, both for joining me today. And I'd just like to say, can I have the cameras on me? Because this is just this important. I must confess to you that until Mr. Fields bathed me, literally baptized me in all of this information about guardianships and seniors, I had no clue. And it is with great difficulty and pained difficulty that I am having this interview with these two industry experts, top in their fields, about this. You may not think it affects you, but yes, it does. It has the potential to change your life forever. It has the potential to change your parents' and grandparents' lives forever. So do not take the information that's being shared today lightly. Do not zoom past it as, I don't really care. Oh, you would want to care, because it's just that real. So without further ado, we're going to show a video that Mr. Fields was so kind enough to share with us, and then we're going to get into the meat of the program today. If you would, please.
Do you want to do your last will and testament? Okay. You need to speak up because Dixie's recording this, so no one challenges that this is what you want to do. So
We're having a difficult time hearing sound, but
okay, so yes, you want to do your last will and testament?
Yes.
what is
Do you
going on?
want Frances Ann to have any of your money?
No.
Do you want Frances Ann to have your house at Swiss Avenue?
No. I want my job.
Who do you want to have the house at Swiss Avenue?
I want.
You want what?
I want to kill myself.
Right, but just in case you, when you die, who do you want the house to go to?
To
Who are the boys?
Right here?
They're standing right here. Do you know, what are their names?
Justin and Mark.
And they're who you want to have your property?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, have you asked me to prepare your last will and testament?
Yes.
Okay. Are you of sound mind to prepare it, to execute it?
Yes.
Okay, do you want to sign? Let me tell you what it says. It says that you are giving all your property to Mark and Justin. You're giving your real and costume jewelry to Beatrix and Grayson. And you're going to give the cradle rocking chair to Frances Ann Giron. Is this what you want done?
Well, if I want.
Okay, well, I need you to say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you want Dixie to be the independent executrix of your will, to be your executor?
If she wants to.
Okay, and if she doesn't want to be, is Robert L. Mark, Bob, okay to be the follow-up executor?
If he wants to be.
Now, are you saying if he wants to be? Is that what you just said?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I am going to, I understand that you want your body to be cremated. Is that correct?
That's right.
And where do you want your ashes to go?
On 49 Swiss Avenue.
Okay, you're doing just fine now. I'm just going to have you sign the will that you want to execute. You hold that. Just hold that. Okay, Mary Ellen, this is the pin. Can you see right here? Make your mark right there. Here, tilt it up more.
Yes, you can X, honey.
There you go, right there. Okay, there you go. Okay, Mary Ellen. Hopefully we won't need this, but you're all done.
Okay, we are back, having seen that disturbing, true account of a situation involving guardianship. Mr. Fields, would you be so kind to speak to that video that you were so kind to make available to us to watch?
First of all, that video was exhibited, it came to my attention through a ABC News website where it was part of a report that ABC did on this particular case.
Mm-hmm.
It's a case out of Texas, not Ohio, but it's particularly important because of the fact that in 3 minutes you see what goes on. I have a stack of papers in my own case that easily is this high of evidence, and this video in 3 minutes does what people would have to go through a stack of papers, and people are not going to go through a stack of papers, but I have always hoped that they'll watch a video. This kind of video was first brought to my attention by Diane Armstrong, who is the author of this book that I brought to your attention.
Okay, yeah, this book, The Retirement Nightmare,
And
Dr. Diane Armstrong.
And Diane worked with a couple of attorneys out in California, Garb and Farb, I think their names are, many years ago, long before this video, telling me that attorneys were making this kind of video to try to convince courts that everything was fine, as in this woman's case. The reason why the attorney made the video is because he knew that he would have to convince a court that she was fine to sign the documents. And we can go into a lot of discussion about whether she was competent or not. That's really second to the point here. Second, the main point here is what is done. How do you determine if a person's competent? How do you make sure that person's not being taken advantage of in this situation? And this is what I focus on. I don't focus on whether she was taken advantage of or not. Now, in this particular case, the attorney was disbarred. He was indicted on criminal charges. He lost his appeals. The two gentlemen that he represented that were also shown in the video, one has cancer and has not been prosecuted because of that. The other one has been convicted. His case is on appeal at this point. This woman, again, she had just suffered a massive stroke and was rushed to the emergency room. That's where they showed up to take advantage of her.
And how did they know she was there?
I can't really answer that. I don't know for sure,
Okay.
but they did have a long-standing relationship, and they had been trying to interest her in giving them property for quite a while. Again, it's interesting just to put a little different face on this than perhaps that you might be familiar with at this point. The attorney, when he was disbarred, was not disbarred for taking advantage of her in this way, due to her incompetency. He was convicted because of what the video showed versus what he did later. The video shows him having her sign 2 pieces of paper in this document. He filed a document with 3 pieces of paper. The 3rd piece of paper was not brought to her attention when she signed it. It was a paper basically that was attesting to her signature, and having stated he was present. I forget the exact term off the top of my head. He was disbarred because obviously he lied, and he admitted eventually that he lied, saying that it was signed in her presence.